I'll be sharing a full guide on how to understand payment terms and how to pay your Alibaba suppliers in China. Let's go. What is up guys, my name is Orinn and welcome back to my channel. If you're excited about this video, be sure to give this a big thumbs up right now. If you want to learn more about online businesses and all things entrepreneurship, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. When dealing with any supplier, the first thing you need to understand is payment terms. So what is payment terms? Payment term or terms of payment is a payment document that has all the details of how and when the payment is supposed to be made. A standard payment term in normal business practice is when you get into an agreement with your supplier and you confirm your order, you pay them 30% deposit first. This 30% is the initial deposit with which your order is confirmed and your production begins. And after the production is complete, then you pay the remaining 70% before they ship it to you or your Amazon warehouse or your fulfillment center. Basically, this payment goes out to them before they ship it to you. So let's break down how you pay deposits. These are the two best methods. Method 1. If you're working with a new supplier or you yourself is new to private labeling, then I would suggest you to pay your initial 30% deposit to your supplier via PayPal. With new suppliers, you're making this deposit with PayPal to stay protected. Suppliers usually say no to PayPal, but if you insist, they will say yes. For example, things don't work out with this order or this supplier for some reason and you have already paid them this deposit. So now because you've paid them through PayPal, you can contact PayPal and explain them what happened, and most likely you will get your money back. If you want to take this a step further to protect yourself, then what you do is you pay your supplier through PayPal but also with a credit card through your PayPal. So worst case scenario, if PayPal doesn't give your money back, then you can contact your bank and then you can get your money back. So this was your 30% deposit. Do keep in mind that if you pay the deposit through PayPal to your supplier, the supplier will put the PayPal fees on you. This is usually 4 to 6% that they get charged. So if they put it on you, this is totally normal, and they do it also so that they can charge you a little extra. But as a new seller, this is the safest option for you. So now you have the remaining 70% that you have to pay to the supplier. Once you've paid your 30%, that now means that your production has started. And so typically the lead time is about 40 to 45 days until your products are ready. Pro tip, if your supplier says that the production will take more than 45 days, then I suggest you to look for a different supplier. It really does depend on how large your order is, but generally they're able to deliver, for example, for smaller orders within 15 to 20 days and for large orders within 45 to 50 days. This is quite standard, and you can also have an agreement with them that you will give them 7 days extra in case of any delays. 7 days extra and no longer than that, because when you will be having your store up and running and you run out of inventory and it takes longer than that, then it will be a big problem. So now that your production is complete, this is when you pay your supplier the 70%. But before doing anything at this point, the first thing you need to do is to get your products inspected. This is when you get an inspection done with a third-party inspection company. A third-party inspection company is basically a company who will inspect your products for you on behalf of you when they are ready and before they're shipped. You want to make sure that your product is what they're supposed to be and they match the sample that you have ordered. You need to make sure they're high quality, there are no scratches or damages, and they're in good condition. Why this is important is because when you're working with a new supplier, you haven't really established a trust with them, a business relationship with them. So this is very important to take this step, especially when you're working with suppliers from China. It's going to be worth your time and money, because in China this happens a lot, that suppliers will initially show you very high quality samples, and then once you confirm that in the bulk order, they will sometimes mix low quality products, or they will just make the entire order with low quality products, because they know that you are in a different part of the world and you will not be able to physically come and check all these products, and by doing this they can make a little bit of extra money. So until you have established a relationship and trust with your supplier, this is essential to do. Make sure to do a drop test that your products don't break when they fall from 3 feet. Make sure that your packaging is correct. Make sure that your prints are correct. It's printed in the right side, in the right order. Make sure there are no missing parts. Make sure that the number of inventory that you have ordered is correct. The inspection company will do all this for you, but you'll have to instruct them on what all exactly to check. Also, very important, make sure to inform your supplier about this in advance so that they can prepare for it. Tell them that you'll be sending a third-party inspection company later before your products are shipped. Okay, now if your supplier doesn't agree to this, then there is obviously something very wrong with the supplier and there might be some bad business practices going on. So I definitely would suggest you to not go ahead with this supplier at all. If you are an Amazon seller, then for the inspection, make sure that the barcodes are correct, that the FBA labels are outside, and then the certifications are all there and the paperwork is correct, and all those kinds of things, and also that it's palletized correctly. I have a full video on third-party inspection company where I explain everything in detail. I'll leave a link in the description box below for that video. You can check that out. So once the inspection is done and your inspection company sends you a report that everything looks good, you're good to go, then this is when you send them your 70% remaining balance in wire transfer. Wire transfer is normal business practice. Wire transfer is when you send money from your bank account to your supplier's bank account. Basically, all you do is send them an online wire transfer. You really don't need to visit the bank or anything like that. You can just do it through your mobile banking app or your computer. If you have a very big inventory and it's a very large amount or something like that, then the bank might ask you to visit for verification and safety purposes, but other than that, it should not be a problem at all. Make sure to get all the correct bank information of your supplier. You'll be needing the SWIFT code, IBAN, account number, name and address, their bank address, and the description of goods that is purchased. You also must check what currency you are sending in. With Chinese suppliers in Alibaba, it's usually USD, but there can be exceptions when it's RMB or Hong Kong dollars. Make sure to double check everything. Do not rush. Don't be distracted when you're doing this transfer. And most importantly, make sure to check the amount, that there are no extra zeros. There's going to be some transfer fees depending on your country and bank, but that is pretty normal. But this is the safest way to send money to your supplier. But having said that, make sure to not pay them until you are absolutely sure of what you are receiving. Do not pay them unless you are 100% sure that this is what you have ordered and this is okay for you to receive, because once you send this money, it's gone. So make sure you check everything before you make your transfer. Also, if your supplier asks you to send money through some other banking service or some other kind of exchange places, then I would suggest you to completely avoid those and only stick to wire transfer. It should only be wire transfer from your bank to their bank. Another pro tip, make sure to pay your supplier only after the bill of lading is issued. A bill of lading is a contract which basically states that what goods you're shipping, where it's being shipped from, and where it's headed. This is something you need to figure out and work out with your supplier and your freight forwarder in advance. Alright, the second method is Alibaba Trade Assurance. Now, if you want to pay a supplier using Alibaba Trade Assurance, then you have to make sure that you find a supplier who accepts trade assurance. You need to ask this to your supplier during your inquiry stage. Trade assurance is kind of like an insurance that Alibaba provides for your products. It means that when you pay your supplier using Alibaba Trade Assurance, Alibaba will hold this money until you have received your products. It is kind of like an insurance that you're going to get for what you're supposed to receive. Personally, I really like trade assurance and I do suggest you to use this option as well. I personally have used this many times, but the thing is that a lot of suppliers don't offer this, and also a lot of sellers don't want to use this because then you have to pay a fee to Alibaba, and if you have a very large order, then that fee can be quite high. If you plan to use trade assurance, then make sure to save and document all your conversations with your supplier. Take screenshots, do whatever you need to do, because if something goes wrong with the order and then you want your money back, then that will act as proof of your case. So with trade assurance also, you'll be doing it the same exact way. You'll pay the 30% deposit initially, and then later, once your products are ready, then you'll be paying them the balance 70%. So once you confirm your order, the supplier will create a contract and they will send you a link for that 30% deposit, and then you'll be paying them that deposit through that link. Make sure to check everything inside that link. The link will have description of your order. Make sure that your the quantity is correct. Make sure it's everything that you have discussed and agreed. This payment will of course be through your debit card or your credit card that you will be putting inside your Alibaba account. But make sure to check the link properly if the delivery date is okay and everything else looks okay before you make the payment. Pro tip, you can create a contract which will have the description of your product and everything that your product is supposed to be and all other terms that you have agreed with your supplier, and then you sign it. You have your supplier sign it, and then you have your supplier attach this PDF in that contract link. This will add an extra layer of protection in your order in case something goes wrong. Once this is done, the next steps after this is exactly the same as we discussed before. When your products are ready, get them checked with a third-party inspection company, and once they send you the report and everything looks good, then you pay them the remaining 70% balance. This 70% balance you'll be able to pay inside your order link, which was already created when you paid the initial 30% deposit. Once you use it, you will know it. It will all be there inside your Alibaba account. So those are the two best methods and very normal business practice. There are some other ways also that you can pay. One of them is to use a payment provider like Payoneer and some other payment providers as well, but I have never used these options for Alibaba, so I personally do not suggest, and I think these are the two best ways. But let me know in comments below if there are any other simpler ways that you have used and it has worked for you. If this video was helpful or added any value, please give us a big thumbs up. Also subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in comments below if you have any questions. I'll try my best to answer most of them, and I'll see you in the next one.